Hello and welcome to our Wednesday evening live broadcast. I am so grateful that you guys have decided to join us tonight. Tonight we are going to be talking about judging others and how that can be holding us back from not only what we're trying to do with the intermittent fasting and a keto-like lifestyle, but any other aspect of our life where we're trying to make improvements or move ourselves forward. Welcome to this broadcast. If you're catching this on the rebroadcast, welcome as well. I always appreciate you guys jumping on with us when this gets posted as a video. Please take a second to hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you're joining us on YouTube, and on Facebook, please hit that like button and make sure that you guys are set up for receiving notifications. We get questions all the time about how it is to be notified when we go live. And on YouTube, there is a little bell that you can click on that, and that way you'll be notified. And on Facebook, there is a notification setting. Make sure that you have checked that you want to be notified for all notifications going through the Facebook page. My name is Diane, and in this community here, we are practicing intermittent fasting and a keto-like lifestyle to help us look and feel our best and live our most authentic life. I have been working in this industry and helping women do that sort of type of practice with their life, doing different types of nutrition, lifestyle changes, and fitness lifestyle changes. And what we have found is as we start to age and as our body starts to go through some of the processes that change chemically in our body, that we have to really reevaluate what it is that we're doing to get the results that we're looking for. And that's exactly what we share in this community here. Tonight, like I said, we are going to be talking about judging others and having that sort of maybe attitude or mentality about what we are doing and thinking that we are the best and that there's only our way and there's no other way that we can be practicing something other than the way that we're currently doing that. And I'm going to share with you some of the stumbling blocks and what happened to me when I was on this journey with experimenting with intermittent fasting and why it took me so long to see results. And a big part of that was because I thought I was doing everything correctly and I wasn't willing to take on some outside advice and really do some experimenting. When you jump on, please take a second to let us know that you're here. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Let us know if you've been in one of our classes in the past or if you're currently in one of our courses, and let us know how maybe this might have been a struggle for you. Maybe you've been watching these videos for several months and you're struggling to get the results that you want, and maybe reevaluating how you're doing things and listening to some outside sources, or maybe even sometimes closing off some outside sources, might help you actually get to the results that you're looking for. So when I first started intermittent fasting, I did it when I was really, really sick. So my body was starting to go through some of these chemical changes. And I thought that there were all of these things that I could sneak into my fasting window and still get the result I was hoping for, because I was not eating for a good 16 to 20 hours in my day, and I was feasting in a way that I thought I had everything figured out, and there was really no one that needed to tell me what I needed to do, because I am a professional. I have been in this industry for 25 years. I coach women on what they need to do to help them achieve the results that they're looking for with what they want to do with their nutrition and their fitness, and I help women get goals. So how is it that I can't figure this out for myself? And so I stumbled around and was really bummed at the fact that I was not actually seeing the results that I was hoping for, because I had it all figured out. And I cheated myself out of a good year of getting the results that I was hoping for, and was really, really frustrated. And I think it led to a lot of the other sort of ailments that I started to pick up, and how I really started to feel really helpless and hopeless and depressed. And it wasn't until I really checked my own ego and experience at the door and was willing to experiment with some new possibilities and really push my body outside of its comfort zone, and realize that there were other people out there who were seeing results with mostly the health side of things, and that if I just push it to the health side of things, what I would be able to do with my own personal results. And it was at that point when I really started to see and feel the shift in what it was that I was looking for in my own lifestyle. And it was at that point that I really did start seeing results. And what happens when you think you have it all figured out and you're frustrated and you keep sort of going back to that same thing over and over again without any willingness or opportunity to open up some new ideas, is you almost wear yourself out and you beat yourself down to a point where you are ready to just kind of throw in the towel. And I know I was at that point as well. Like I said, it took me about a year to really check my ego at the door and consider some other opportunities. I was spending a lot of time being very judgmental and looking at people and saying, wow, I can't believe they're doing that, or that seems stupid, or I can't imagine ever doing that, and really was so stuck in my own ways that I wasn't willing to listen to all of those things that my body was trying to tell me and really tweak the things that other people were doing to see if it could possibly work. And when I started to really do that, that's when I started seeing the results. So some of the things that I was doing was definitely, cheating myself out of a clean fasted state. So I was putting things in my fasted window because, I mean, come on, can stevia really be that bad in your coffee in the morning if you're not eating all day? And I was not really paying attention to what I was doing in my feasting window. So I thought I could kind of cheat the system on my feasting window as well, because I mean, I was so used to eating a certain way for so long that despite the common sense aspect of the fact that it was no longer working for me, I thought I had it figured out. And I thought I knew what foods really worked best for me. And I thought I knew what kind of exercise that I needed to be doing in order to get that shift and that change to start happening. And I really had to just become very vulnerable and very raw in what I was doing and listen and think to myself, wow, if I just stop being so judgmental, and if I just stop thinking that I have it all figured out, and I consider what someone else might be saying, or I just experiment with something else someone might be doing, then maybe I'll get to where I wanted to go. And like I said, that's exactly what happened for me. So I know a lot of you are probably in the same position. You've done it in the past for so long. It is so ingrained in us. It is the habits that we have formed. It is, the things that we have used to get by. And why is it that we have to listen to someone else, or why is it that we have to have that change? And I get that, and I understand exactly what you're going through. But I can also tell you that when I flipped the scenarios around and I really did just consider some new ways of doing things, and I stopped being so critical of other people, is really when the things changed for me. And it went way beyond just what I was doing in my fitness and nutrition window. It had to do with every aspect of my life, and some things that I was doing social media wise, and some things that we were doing in our family, and some things we were doing with our kids, and really did start practicing some of the things that I was seeking out to learn, and really thought, okay, well, if this isn't working the way we think it's supposed to be working, what if we adapted some new practices? What if we implemented some new things? What if we just considered trying it this way for a while? And the one thing I could tell you with experimenting with some things and opening up your mind to new possibilities, and stop being so critical and judgmental of the way other people are doing things, is that you clear your mind. And when you clear your mind, a lot of you know through going through our course, when your mind is clear, then you really do have that sort of sense of calm and that sense of confidence that you can pretty much do anything that you set your mind to. But we get so caught up in being judgmental, we get so caught up in being so tightly wound, we get so caught up in it's my way or the highway, that we really do end up cheating ourselves. That's some really great opportunities and some really great chances of creating the change that we need to create. And the great thing about tweaking something or experimenting with something or considering a possibility is that if it doesn't work for you, then you just go back to something else, or you try something new, or you tweak it in a different way, or you just admit, like, oh my gosh, that person was so right. I never would have considered that, or I never would have imagined that I would have had that type of result had I not just given it a go. So not everything has to be your way or the highway. Sometimes it is okay, and I know for us A-type personalities and for us perfectionist type of people, it really is hard to surrender those types of feelings, and it really is hard to surrender those types of habits. But I can tell you that from my own personal experience, that it really has opened me up to a lot of amazing new things in my life and a lot of amazing new ways of getting some things done. And on the flip side of that is that I am a much healthier person for just letting myself be vulnerable and letting myself have an opportunity to try some things a different way. And now I do that with a lot of different things in my life and a lot of different aspects of my life. And I really do encourage women to do the same. The other part of that we don't talk about a whole lot is the community that you build when we're a little bit more open-minded and a little bit gentler and more kind to other women, and let go of that almost habitual reaction that we have to be so critical and to be so judgmental, and really just be patient and be open-eared and be open-hearted and listen to what some other people are doing in their life and have some compassion for that, as opposed to just having judgment all the time. And that will really help us be supportive as a community of women and really help lift each other up. We don't always have to do everything the way other people are doing it, but I think removing the criticism and removing the judgment out of what can be so habitual for us really will allow us to be a lot more supportive and a lot kinder, and really develop a community where we can be supportive and loving to each other and not just so closed off and judgy. And that's really what I want to get across here. And for the most part, we have an amazing community of women here. So this is our safe place. This is the place where we do not judge other people, that we really do consider the fact that every woman is designed in a completely unique way, and that Susie can do it her way, and Betty can do it her way, and Diane can do it her way, and Rachel can do it her way. And that's all okay, as long as the results that you're getting are helping you look and feel your best and live your most authentic life. And then we should not be judgmental about that. We should be open-minded and very supportive and loving of women having the opportunity to really make those decisions to live their life authentically. So I'm going to jump on and see if I can welcome everyone and read your guys' comments. Michael, if you would start over on YouTube tonight, and then Facebook, hold on just a second, we'll get to you. And before, Michael, you start that, I did want to say something really quickly about our poor friends in California. If you guys can all say a little prayer for their safety and for the fire people who are personnel who are fighting those fires in California. It is really bad. Michael and I lived exactly in the area where these fires are being fought and where these water drops are taking place. Some of our neighbors' backyards are being affected. It's a really scary situation out there. So please, if you would not mind sending a little prayer their way, and just keeping them in your thoughts. Those are our friends and those are our neighbors, and it's our home, our first home together as a family, and it is a really bad situation there, and it's really scary. We've had fires very close to where we lived before as well, and it is always touch and go. So I just wanted to make sure that our friends in California know that we're thinking about you and we're praying for you, and we hope that everything will settle back down again soon. So Michael, go ahead.
Shirley Stanley says, hi Diane, August course, Loving Life.
Yes.
And Mahalia, hello from Aubrey. Hopefully I can take your course in September. Is that Australia?
I think so.
Bernadette Lumley, hi Diane, I'm enjoying the August course.
Yes. You guys are like in the beginning of week 1, and the August course is what a super positive group of people. And you guys are already doing so well with your fasting and your feasting windows. So keep up all the great work. And thank you so much for jumping on the live broadcast with us as well. We love having you guys here.
Barty Miller's here. Marilyn says, I'm new and trying to learn everything I can.
Yay. Well, welcome.
Shirley Stanley, love thinking for myself like a grown-up. Lydia Vasquez, hi there from South Carolina. That's it.
That's it? Okay, cool. Let me see what we got over here on Facebook and YouTube. Leave us a comment and we will make sure that we read your comment and welcome you to the call tonight as well. Okay, let's see. I think Facebook starts at the top and then I run down to the bottom, and then sometimes the comments don't make sense. Kara, welcome, girlfriend, for being here. Frederic, I believe it is, welcome. Shirley, doing great. Awesome, Shirley. So glad to have you with us. I'm in the August class. That's Frederic. Welcome, Frederic. Maggie is here. Welcome, Maggie. Tina, I'm in the August course now. Great. Hopefully you're doing well. Connie, in the current month's group. Awesome. Bev, hello from Colorado. July graduate. Yay, Bev. Jade is here. Pamela, hello, Diane. Doing well in the August class. Awesome. You guys in August are killing it. I'm telling you. I love having you guys here with us. Robin, hi from Chicago. June and July graduate. Polly from Atlanta. Welcome, Polly. Deborah. From Toronto, just had this conversation within the past hour with a friend, not judging others, instead feel gratitude for others and their choices and lives. Deborah, exactly. You know, it's so easy to sit back and really be judgy of what people are doing or how they're living their lives. And, you know, we always try to remember in our house, and what we really try to teach to our kids too, is you only know what's happening on the surface, and you always only know what people are willing to share with you. And everything else is really none of your business. And even what people are willing to share is really none of your business either. Trust me, because if you're in this sort of situation and you willingly divulge what you're doing in your life, the opinions and judgments and comments that people feel that they have the right to share with you are always shocking to us. And what other women are willing to say to someone who just wants to come out and help other women. So I think we need to just slow down a little bit. And then what we've learned too, just because of the position that we're in, being so public and being so open about a lot of things that I share here, is that I always stop and pause now when someone's really judgy about me, or really judgy about my family, or really judgy about something I say or do. And I try to pause and think, wow, I wonder what's going on in their life to make them say that or feel that way. And I always try to pause before I become like offended or reactionary or even feel hurt, because they, like, most people don't even know that they're being that way. And for a lot of people, it's their only way to vent or feel good about themselves. And so we always have to consider that too. If we are being judged, pause and think, wow, what is going on in that person's life to make them to respond to me in that way? And then that helps us really learn how to get off that judgment cycle as well, because if we're judgy of other people and we're really nasty about it, and we have our set opinions about the way we think someone else should live their life when it's really none of our business, then I think sometimes we have to pause and go, wow, what's going on with me? Like, what's going on in my life that's making me feel that way? And I think sometimes if we look back on those situations and we look back at ourselves, we can really learn a lot about ourselves by just catching ourselves in the act of being judgy. And then it gives us an opportunity to have a learning opportunity and then a reevaluation about how we're going to react in the next situation. So we always try to have that be a learning moment as well. Polly from Atlanta in the August course and loving the energized sense of calm. Well, Polly, congratulations for already getting to the point of the energized sense of calm. That is the magic spot, the spot we all really shoot for. So congratulations, and I'm happy you're there already. Carolyn from British Columbia, welcome, girlfriend. Karen, hello, from Florida. Am on day 7 with IF. Congratulations. Teresa, I'm a graduate of your July course, and this is one area I have recently learned what you've talked about. I am trying to be less judgmental of what other people are eating. I need to just worry about me and live my most authentic life. Exactly. And what we want to make sure that we don't become as well, when we start to feel better and make better choices about what we're doing with our bodies or how we're eating or how we're living our life, just in general, is that we don't want to necessarily like puke that all over people, right? So we don't want to become the experts in everybody else's life just because we became experts in our own life. We want to make sure that when we share information about what we're doing, or we want to share what it is that's really positive, that we almost want to have permission to do such a thing, to share. Because if you don't really have permission, and it's not an open conversation, and it's not a willing two-way conversation, then it appears that we're being judgy. Because people who maybe know they're making choices that aren't so great about their nutrition are going to feel like you're being judgmental or preachy to them. So we also have to make sure when we're feeling really good and we're feeling really excited and we think we've made all these great choices and we want to share it with everybody, we also have to pause and take a deep breath as well and make sure that we don't come across as judgy when we're really we just want to share something we're really excited about. So there's a lot of areas about being judgy that we really have to be very aware of and sensitive about, so that we don't come across as judgy when we're really trying hard not to be. And that's something that we have to really be very conscious about. Jillian, February and March grad in the F3 course. I've never felt that I know it all. I've stumbled my way to 30 pounds weight loss. Have learned to listen to my body and be kind to myself and keep trying every day. Build people up is the way to go. Yeah, Jillian, you're a good example of that. So thanks for sharing that. Lisa, hello. Lavana from, I think is it Kentucky? It says Mentucky, but I think it's Kentucky unless it's Mentucky in another part of the world. I don't know. So you can clarify that one, Lavana. Miwa, tuning in from Hong Kong. Welcome, girlfriend. Always love having you on with us. Lori, hello. Yeah, so Lavana said Kentucky. So cool. I thought that was Kentucky. That's where my husband from, and it's definitely not. It's definitely not Kentucky. So, but you never know. Like, we have women from all over the world. We have a very international audience. So I never just assume I know what someone's typing in there, because there may be a place called Kentucky somewhere. I don't know. Okay, so I just want to reinforce what we were just talking about. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more tomorrow in our live on Instagram when we're going over chapters 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think, for Girl Wash Your Face. And some of the struggles we have as women trying to manage life and kids and bodies and body image and all the things that we have to manage. And it would be so much easier if we didn't have to worry about wondering what people are thinking about what we're doing, or, you know, is it a bad thing to work and be a mom? Is it a bad thing to not want to be on the PTA? And you know, a lot of the times we have to deal with all those unnecessary stresses just because we're worried about what other people are thinking about us. And I think if we start to really be less judgy and we really think about how we speak to people when we try to give them even share advice or some of the things that we're doing, and we really consider how we want to be talked to and how we want to be treated about the way we're doing things, and we in return treat people the same way, then I think we can really start to ease up a little bit on being so worried about what other people are thinking, and we really can live authentically without having to answer to someone or justify what we're doing, or feel like we can't be our 100% authentic self in a public setting or in a work lunchroom or where a family get together or wherever it is that we're doing our thing. We should be free as grown-up women to do us in the best way that we know how without being judgmental. And the best way to be able to do that is if we as a group collectively just stop doing it ourselves.
Hey, we got more than just girls here. We got hubbies in the room. Sherry is back again. I so love seeing her pop in. Theresas, I think is how you say her last name. She said she is here. She says hi. She's here with her hubby.
Well, hubby. I don't know many men who were judgmental. My husband is definitely not a judgmental man. Thank goodness. He's very kind-hearted and easygoing guy. And yes, I know that there are men that do that for sure. But for some reason, it seems to affect women so much more. So I never want to isolate our men. But from my personal experience, and I have a great husband who sets the example for me, so I have all these great examples of how men are. I haven't had to deal with that. So hopefully none of you have had to as well.
Yeah, she said just got her book today. And she said men are easier on each other for sure.
Yes.
That is so true.
Well, and I think a lot of the judgment for women too comes from the fact that our role has changed so much over the years, where we can, really have kids and work outside of the house. And, we can do a lot of the things that I think, even I know my mom's generation was viewed so differently. And I think we're easing ourselves out of that But the insecurities that we as women hold, I think, is really the root cause of us being so judgmental. And that's why I say, I do pause, because I used to be judgmental. I used to be really quick to judge and have an opinion about other people. And I've learned now that, I've experienced that myself. I think, gosh, I was not in the best place when I was the most judgmental. I was feeling insecure about myself. I was feeling insecure about my life. And so it's really easy to look at someone else in judgment when you're not happy with yourself. And now that I'm very happy with myself and I'm very happy with my life, and I fixed a lot of those things, flaws, I guess, or scars, maybe is the better word, that I had from my past, I really try to be a lot kinder and more loving and really more patient with other women, because maybe they haven't had the same opportunity to go through a healing process, or maybe they're still dealing with some of those past scars or some of those past demons, and they're just not deep down in their soul of who they are happy with themselves. So I always try to take that into consideration before I ever have an ill kind of thought or feeling towards someone, even when they're coming at me really mean.
Okay, Jackie Barnes, I didn't skip you. I see you. I just didn't get to you yet. She said, "Is it okay for teenagers to IF?"
um, okay, so I'll tell you the way we do it in our house. What intermittent fasting really did for me as a mom and how I deal with my kids and food is I no longer shove food down their throats thinking that they have to eat every couple of hours. I no longer demand that they have breakfast before they leave for their day at school. I don't believe that breakfast is the what do they say breakfast is the smartest meal of the day or the best meal of the day, or I don't know what.
Most important meal of the
Yeah,
day.
most important meal of the day. I don't even know what the saying is anymore. I don't believe that. I let my kids determine when it is they want to eat. So I guess technically some days they fast and then some days they don't. I ask my daughter every morning, "Do you want breakfast today?" And I think this morning she said, "No, I'm not hungry." So we left it at that, and I allowed her to figure out when she was hungry, and she's 12, she could feed herself. And school days are the same way. I make sure I pack them a very plentiful lunch for school, and there's plenty of opportunity for her to have a snack when she needs to have a snack. And if breakfast isn't what she wants, or she doesn't want food introduced into her body before she starts school, I don't force that anymore. And then I'm in control of their lunch because they leave with their lunch, and I'm in control of their dinner. So if all they ate was lunch and dinner, and I know what they ate during those 2 meals, they will be fine. So I would say don't demand that they don't eat for a certain amount of hours a day, but instead approach it with, "Let me know when you're ready to eat," or "Only eat when you're hungry," and stop forcing them to eat frequently throughout the day. Don't reward your kids with food. Don't punish your kids with food. Don't entertain your kids with food. And then just let food naturally occur in their life. And then what will happen is a byproduct of that is they'll naturally fall into some fasting opportunities. So I hope that answered that one.
Okay, I got Amy S. She says, "Amy here, April grad, very good advice. Unless someone asks, I really have learned not to mention what I'm doing because I found that people are not even curious about what I have done."
Right. Yep. And people who aren't in the research mode. So I know a lot of women and men are here because they've searched for some answers to something. So if people aren't searching for answers, then that generally means they're content or happy with what they have going on. They don't want to make any changes. So you coming in with a bunch of advice on what they should be doing or telling them how wrong it is that they're living their life is judgmental. And if they're not in a place where they're ready to receive some new ideas or some new scientific research or a new way to do things, then they will become defensive and assume that you're being judgmental. So always make sure that when you're sharing what you're doing in your life that you get permission to share, or make sure that the person who you're sharing it with is ready to receive it, and you do it in a way that doesn't seem judgmental, because I know it's easy to be that way if you're super excited about something and want to give advice. And then just make sure, again, like, you also don't judge someone if they do not care at all what you're doing. Do not judge someone if they're going to have their big old stack of pancakes and whatever it is they want to have for breakfast. Like, that's their life. If they're grown-ups, they can make their own decision, and we shouldn't push our philosophies or our beliefs on them either. And then again, with women, just being kind. And Gabby and I really practice this. I try to be a big, open like obvious example to Gabby when we volunteer at church is I really do my best to say what I think about someone in a positive light. So if I see someone with a pretty dress or someone with a great smile or or someone is just looking like they are having a great day, I think that in my head, I always say the good things out of my mouth. And whatever I think in my head that's not good or not going to help someone skip their way into their whatever they're doing in their day in their life, I swallow it and I let it go, because I don't, we're human. We're going to have the thoughts that we have, but we really have to learn how to control where those thoughts go. And if they're good, you should express them through your mouth. And if they're not good, you need to swallow them, let them go, and figure out why it is you're having those kind of thoughts. Because like I said, when I was having really bad thoughts and really judgy thoughts about people, it's because I had a problem, because I wasn't happy with myself. And that really ends up being what the root cause of being so judgmental and so harmful to each other is.
Okay, Sherry's got a question. She
Yes.
says, Di, does your husband eat the same food as you do during feasting? I know my body is different than my husband's, so do you guys eat the same? Right now, that's what we are doing.
Well, I guess Michael can answer.
No, we definitely don't. We definitely don't eat the same. I mean, like sometimes we do, but definitely not all the time. I mean, because some days I'll fast at. My feasting might be different than Diane's feasting, and fasting might be different than Diane.
Okay, so the types of foods that we eat are pretty much the same, because I do the grocery shopping and I try to buy as healthy a food as possible, and we limit or eliminate soy in our life. None of us eat dairy really in our house. We eat manchego cheese. My daughter eats a little bit of Greek yogurt. So I think the types of foods that we eat are very similar. When we eat differs because we have different body requirements, so we don't fast the same way. He has different long fasting days than I do because of our schedule is different and stuff like that. And I would say Michael has a little bit wider variety of food that he can eat, because for me and the stage of life that I'm in and what my hormones are doing right now, I can't eat the same way as Michael. But what oftentimes happens is we have family food and then we just pick what we want, because my daughter doesn't eat like us either, which is funny because we always have the same food available, but our plates always look different. So there's no mandate to how you eat in our house, but what we have in our cupboards is the healthiest food for our family. So that's the similarity that we have. So I hope that answers that question. But Michael and I fast completely different now, though.
Denise Letta, she says, hi Diane, from upstate New York, been watching you for a few months and thinking of joining your next course. And then she continues, she says, been watching you for a few months, thinking of joining next. Okay. When people judge, it doesn't define you, it just defines them.
Ooh, that's a quotable thing right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is absolutely true, and that's really what I had to come to grips with, where my personal development books have come in, and just listening to other people who are in my similar situation with being, I try to be as open and as honest with you guys as I possibly can, and as vulnerable as I can, so that you guys can learn that you're not alone in the struggles, and that does open up an opportunity for a lot of people to be very judgmental in judgmental, mean way. And so you really do have to just kind of develop a thick skin and just be so confident in yourself that you really don't care what other people think or say about you, I guess would be the best way to say that.
Okay, Shirley Stanley, I guess I was disappointed when my doctor was not excited about IF.
Well, your doctor doesn't need to be excited about IF. A doctor is a doctor. A doctor is someone who went to school to study very specific things. And yes, we need them in some very serious situations in our life. But intermittent fasting, you guys, is just delaying the time in which you put food in your body. It is not anything that you need to necessarily get permission from a doctor for. And I just had a conversation about this in one of our intermittent fasting groups that we have on Facebook about what's normal. What is normal anymore? No one really knows. We have so many influences in our life, environmental influences. We have nutritional influences, we have stressor influences, we have workplace influences, we have relationship influences. All of those things take us out of what our norm is. Our norm is, how our body should operate without any of those influences in it. What is normal? So anytime a doctor would say to me, well, it's not normal, I'm like, but it's normal for me. It may not be normal to your textbook, but it's normal to me. And when I was having my perimenopausal symptoms and I walked out of my doctor's office with 3 prescriptions that I didn't need, it was because he thought I was a normal perimenopausal woman, but I wasn't that what he was normally used to seeing. I wasn't depressed and he gave me an antidepressant. I didn't have blood pressure problems and he gave me a blood pressure pill to reduce my water retention that was gluten related. So the reason why it's normal for women to go through these horrible menopausal changes is because we all eat the same crappy food. And as soon as you stop eating that crappy food that's throwing your hormonal chemistry out of balance, you actually revert to normal. And what normal is no brain fog, no insomnia, no water retention, no inflammation, no autoimmune disorder. Like, that's normal. But there's very few people who are living that as a normal life because we have all the outside influences coming in, which is creating this new subset of normal, which no one likes. No one wants to live in that kind of normal. So I would say do your research and do your experimenting and just practice what you think makes sense for your life. And if your doctor's not on board, so be it. How often do you need to see your doctor? Once a year? I see my doctor once a year, and that's for the required preventative test that I do because I want to make sure that I can head off anything that's going to go wrong in my body before it gets too bad. And other than that, I manage my own care. I was able to reverse my own pre-diabetic state. I was able to reverse what the preset dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms I was having. I was able to reverse what I had going on with my thyroid. My thyroid's normal at 42. I mean, all of those things that you would go into a doctor, oh yeah, that's normal, you're 52. Oh yeah, that's normal, you're 52. Well, guess what? I'm a very abnormal 52-year-old woman because I'm not suffering any of the things that the normal 52-year-old woman is suffering because I've changed my lifestyle. So I say be the outlier. Be the outlier that doesn't have the typical symptoms and the typical problems. And the only way that you can do that is if you live your life differently than the normal person. And now I'll get off my soapbox and see if Michael has another comment.
Deborah's here. She says she's a February grad. I agree with Denise. Unless someone specifically asks, I don't offer info anymore.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And then what I always do is just say, I just give the very general guidelines and don't give too much personal information about myself because they don't really want to know what you're doing. And what we really try to teach here in this community as well is figure out what you need to do. Figure out what is going to be the best for you in the lifestyle that you want to live. And don't rely on cookie cuttering what someone else is doing. Don't eat the same way someone else is eating. Don't eliminate the same things exactly that someone else is doing. Don't fast the same amount of hours that someone else is doing. Figure out you. And take in advice, of course, and take in opportunities to make some tweaks. But you cannot cookie cutter someone else's life because you have your own DNA and you have your own food history and you have your own birth history and you have your own, history with whatever it is you had that you were exposed to or lived through as a person growing up. And so you can't mimic someone else. You have to figure yourself out. So give advice, but don't ask someone to replicate what it is that you're doing.
Sherry says she can ditto everything you're saying because I experienced the same thing with menopause. Now I sleep through the night, no more brain fog, and losing inches with this. And this is my second month of IF.
And who's that, Sherry?
Uh-huh.
So Sherry, congratulations and welcome to the amazing world of being abnormal in menopause. I think we should start a community of abnormal menopausal women because yes, we are definitely living life differently and I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'll take abnormal any day.
Denise says, I have a great hubby too. He wants to do what I'm doing. Well, you can you can join us on Friday afternoon.
We won't be here this
we
Friday.
won't be here this Friday.
So
or here is fine too.
So let me introduce something here in a rebroadcast. People, please comment on that too, and everyone who's here right now can comment on it as well. We've had a lot of people ask us about couples and putting a group together for couples, and then we put a group together for couples, and then only the women showed up. So Michael would really love to have an opportunity to do either a men's type of community. We really support our men, and you guys can talk men stuff because we talk women stuff in our private groups, or really do a couples mentoring type of group where we can pull couples together and talk about what you do in your family life and talk about how you handle social situations together and how you have each other's back. And Michael and I talk a lot before we go out about what our plan is. Like, what are we going to do in this social situation, and how can I have your back, and what can I do, and this is what I need you to do to have my back kind of situation. And if you guys are looking for that kind of community, we would love to be able to create that. So you guys just give us some feedback and let us know what you want, and we're always willing to help in any way we can. And oftentimes when we take it off public and we do it a little bit more privately, then we can really start to really break through some pretty deep and serious stuff, because we can do it collectively with a group that we trust. So just reach out to us, let us know. You can email us, you can send us a private message, whatever. And we've been playing around with it, but we just have to make sure that we have the support that we can pull it off, is basically the big thing. Kara, for some reason, I can't see the comments on Facebook. I don't know why. I can see that the comments are coming in, but for some reason they're not popping in on my feed. So the last comment I have is from Lavana, and I don't see any other ones. So I don't know what that is. Anything over there, Michael?
We have.
Yeah.
Sherry says, awesome, Denise. We need more men. My husband loves it. And Sherry also says that she's all in.
Sweet.
And MG says, my husband's down.
He's down.
Yeah, so
yes.
we're getting some people that want to.
Awesome. Okay, we'll keep working on it then. If you are on Facebook, and okay, here we go. I think it just unlocked. Okay, so good. Yvonne, all love here. Okay, good. Yvonne, you're one of the good examples of never being judgmental and always being super supportive. So we appreciate that, and we've noticed that in you for sure. Donna, you're back. Awesome. We've missed you. You're awesome. And yes, I have friends. They will say prayers for them. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. We talked about the California people and how we need to say prayers for all the people suffering and being scared from the fires that are going on there. Nellie, welcome. Jane just got here. Awesome. Lavana, I got that Kentucky straightened out. Nellie, made it live. Tamara, I love taking food to ground zero for a mental, spiritual, and physical reset. Feeling great in the 20-hour fast, which is complete surprise. Yeah, that's the thing that I love about the courses that we teach, is it really is an opportunity to take chances, right? And know that you're going to get supported, and it's all okay if it doesn't work out. But I think a lot of women really talk themselves out of pushing that fasting window. And if you can just convince yourself that it's worth it to push yourself there and get there, that really is when you start to really unveil the power of what you have to do, and how your mind is so strong. You can be so supportive of what your body needs, but we talk ourselves out of going to that place. So congratulations on getting there so quickly. I'm super proud of you. Catherine, July grad, thanks for sharing that it took you a year to figure it out. Trying to be patient with myself and be okay with the struggle of figuring it out for myself. It's hard. Okay, so Catherine, I was on so I had a 2-year journey. This is my almost 3.5 years of fasting now. My first journey, I was stubborn and judgmental. The second year, I was open-minded and experimenting, but it took me a long time and a lot of experimenting and tweaking to get through before I finally put it together and made it work. And that's really where this 3-week course came from, is those 2 years of struggle. And I narrowed the information down to 3 weeks. Now, will you see results in 3 weeks? some people do. And again, that's a personal journey and where they started from. And then other people might take a year, like I took, to really get my body to that healed point, because I had so many intolerances with food going on, and my chemistry was so off that as soon as I figured out that gluten was a thing that was causing so much water retention and inflammation in my body, that was a great thing, and I started noticing results, but I still hadn't narrowed down the soy thing yet. So then I had to figure out where all the soy was coming from, and I had to like figure out that it was in my gum, and it was in my makeup, and it was in my air fresheners, and all of these outside forces. I thought it was just my food, and then I got the soy out of my food, but I was still not as healthy as I knew I could be, and still had some things I was battling. And so then I had to go deeper and figure out all the cleaning products I had, and all the topical agents I had that were causing me to have some of those delayed healing effects. And so you guys get it quick. You get the information quick, but the practice takes time and consistency to really get to that point where you're healing your body. So take the information and just keep tweaking it and keep at it and stay consistent. And that's why we really do give you guys the opportunity to go back into the course as many times as you need to review the information, because the information's solid, it's factual, but how your body's going to process and adapt to it may take longer than others. So stick with it, and I promise you'll get there for sure. Teresa, I'm glad you got to be with us and hear this. Roseanne, so grateful to be in the August group from New Haven, Connecticut. Donna, put them on pause. It's actually their issue. Love us or leave. Exactly. I've been here way too long to stop it. Good for you, Donna. Yvonne, I'm so excited for all the new students. Congratulations for taking the steps toward greater health. So Yvonne she had some pretty amazing results that even shocked her. She got rid of her inhalers and some allergies that she had been suffering from for a very long time through intermittent fasting, and she's vegan. So she didn't have to do a whole lot of changes in her nutritional window. She just buttoned things up. But it was the fasting that really did allow her the opportunity to kind of internally heal her body. And she's doing fantastic still. And she's been doing this for a little over a year. So time and consistency will keep it there for you. Shelly, feeling great. 20-hour fast. Little difficult working out. Just don't feel I have the strength. Love to lift weights. Keeping positive. Shelly, a little tip. Once you get through the course, so if you're still in the course, then what I suggest you do, weightlifting requires glycogen stores to be readily available. So a lot of people find that when they break their fast and then start lifting weights, that it's a better feeling. People who do cardio can do it fasted and feel something completely different. So I would say when you're ready, start experimenting with some things you can do to just make sure your body has what it needs to get that feeling that you like with strength training. And if you need specific help, just email me. And I would love to help you get some info on that as well. Teresa, thank you for this message. You're welcome. Megan, so I told you there was lots of Facebook messages. I just couldn't get to them. Let's see, Megan, thank you for the AM info and prep talk. I listen on my AM walk, then amp up my music and run home. Well, that sounds like a great morning. Congratulations. And thanks for tuning in to us. Donna, hope you're okay. Yeah, Yvonne's up in Northern California, and the fires are southern or mid-range, I guess, California, the Orange County area. So I think Yvonne's okay. She might get a little bit of pollution from it. Nellie, love the hair. Thank you for noticing. I got my hair done today. I'm loving it. Thank you for the compliment. Kara's got all the posts up there for the live broadcast we're doing tomorrow. Donna, men don't hate, period. It's true, Michael. Thank goodness. Yeah, that's so true. Deborah, good to see you. And I think, it's just that thing, like I say, like women's roles have changed and opportunities for women have changed. And I think some women are just not ready for that. And some men aren't ready for that either, to be totally honest. But I think just because it's a whole new thing for some women, that it's that feeling of I can't do what she's doing and I wish I could, or those kind of things. I think that really that judgmental part came about, and I think it's just creatures of habit. That's just the way we are designed to. But yeah, men are much easier on each other for sure. Deborah, hello. Donna, Wendy, like that answer regarding kids. Thanks. So glad I caught you. Like, yeah, you're welcome for sure. It really did change a lot of what we do in the morning routine in our home. My daughter used to cry on her way to school, ramming food, like force feeding herself because I told her she had to eat. And now we just don't have those mornings anymore. And if she wants to eat, there's plenty of really healthy food. And if she doesn't, that's okay. I just throw a little extra food in her lunchbox and she's fine, or she eats more when she gets home. So no big deal there. Wendy, definitely. I always tell my kiddos that if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. Exactly. Lori, I have two best girlfriends. One lives in California near me and one in Washington. I'm closest to the one in California for two reasons. She's close by and she struggles with her weight like me. Our friend in Washington has always been thin, is always aware of her body, etc. Do I not see her as often as I would like to due to our weight and feeling bad about ourselves? Side note, I feel myself only looking at myself with a hand mirror, so I only see my face and not my body. Head in the sand effect. Okay, so Lori, a couple of things on that comment right there. Let's talk about the hand mirror thing. I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you stop doing that and look at your whole body, because you're going to miss out on some really amazing things. First and foremost, we have to always take a second to think about where our body has taken us and where our body is bringing us, right? And so I've shared very openly here that I have always had a problem with body image as well, because I was teased so much as a kid about the fact that I had very large legs, very large according to other people's opinions, and my upper body is very small. And so I've always hated my body. But what I've learned over time, and a lot of it is just some things that maybe even some of my other girlfriends or other women have suffered, and body parts that they have lost, or battles with fights with things that they've lost and they're no longer with me, is that you have to love what you have in the moment. And if you had the opportunity to raise that body of yours up out of the bed and put those feet on the ground and participate in your life, you have to learn to be grateful for your body. Now, are there some things in your body that you could change? I don't know, but you're here, so you might be interested in maybe incorporating some new things or changing some things or experimenting with some things. But you can't waste time in your precious life hating yourself, because time goes by so quickly. And how sad would it be if you spent so much time being unhappy with your body when it's perfectly fine, I'm sure, health-wise. You just have to tweak some things or learn why it is you hate what you're seeing so much. And I had to go through that process too. Why was I hating what I was seeing so much? And it wasn't so much that I hated it, it was because I was conditioned to learn to hate it by what other people's opinions were of my bodies. And when I stopped caring about that and really started focusing on me and what I was portraying to even my own daughter, I had to really wake up. So please find some things about your body that you love and focus on those things, while other parts of your body that maybe you're not so happy with are playing catch up, and they will catch up for sure. The second thing about the girlfriend, I have had friends who have flat out told me to my face that there were times where they didn't want to hang out with me because they felt uncomfortable. They felt uncomfortable at a pool because they didn't want to be sitting next to me in our bathing suits. And so they chose to not spend time with me. And I'll tell you what, it was so, so hurtful to me, because I would never, ever, ever, ever in my life say to someone, I will not spend time with you because I feel bad about myself because of the way you look, or I would be embarrassed to be with you at the pool because of the way you look. So I would highly recommend reaching out to your girlfriend in Washington and just giving her a call. Just tell her that you were thinking about her, and don't make her have to pay the price for something that you're feeling bad about for yourself, because I'm sure she's a really good person because she's your friend. And don't avoid her because she just has a different body type or a different body size or a different body style than you. That's the beauty of women, is we all come in different shapes and sizes, and it doesn't necessarily mean that she's doing anything better or worse than you. She's just different than you, and that's really not a reason to avoid a friendship with someone. And one of my dearest friends, we hung out together all the time, and we didn't have any of those kind of relationship problems, but or not only want to say problems, I'm not saying you guys have problems, but those feelings. and she died of breast cancer. And, like, you never know when things are going to happen like that with your friends or your girlfriends, or whether they're going to be here tomorrow or have to suffer something horrible to fight through. And you don't want to miss those precious moments with her. So I would say try to figure out why it is, or maybe you have figured it out and that's why you shared that. And see if you can do something about that so you can incorporate her more in your life, because you would hate to have regrets of not spending time with her if something were to happen where she wasn't available for you anymore. So you want to consider those things, and those are those deep things that you have to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way, and get to that root cause for yourself. So Lori, thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing all those thoughts with us today. And see if you can maybe journal about that and come to some okay feeling about both of those situations, and then keep us posted and let us know how you're handling that, and how that's working out for you. Let's see, we would get annoyed with her for not including food in our get-togethers, or taking too long to order, asking the server too many questions, and eating too slow. We would rush through our food, as she would get irritated at us for her sitting there eating by herself because we ate so fast. Huge lesson for me here. We needed to write it down so I could read it on my own. Okay, so sorry I didn't finish reading that. But yeah, so you're working on it and you're working through it, so that's great. So you would hate going out to lunch with me because I'm your friend. Like, I take forever. I'm always the last person to order. I make everybody else order first because I am the longest person to place an order, because I sub this, put this on the side, can you not put that on there, ask questions about the oil that they're using in the restaurant. Like, I do all of those things, but I don't do that to shame anyone else. I do that because that's what I need for me. So it sounds like you're working on it. It sounds like you noticed it. Please do us a favor and keep us posted on that. And we'll be praying for you, that you find some peace and some resolve in that situation, because it sounds like it might be aching your heart a little bit. And I would love for that ache to turn into to a better feeling for you. So thanks again, Lori, for sharing that. And then Wendy, here's to becoming an abnormal menopausal woman. Yes, for sure. I think that should be our goal. We should seriously start a club, the Abnormal Menopausal Woman Club, and just debunk all of the medical books and all of the forums that are out there with how we're supposed to feel when we go through the change of life. And even my daughter, like, I am not going to make her the stereotypical teenager going through the adolescent change of life. And we're going to make sure that she eats food that's not going to chemically throw her out of balance. We're going to make sure that she's on top of her self-care, nutritionally, physically, stress-wise, sleep-wise. I do not want her to have to suffer the typical teenage I don't want to say menopausal. What am I talking about? What's the word I want to say? Menstruation type of change of life. I don't want her to think that you have to eat chocolate and drink Diet Coke and a tub of ice cream when you're 3 days away from your period starting. I don't want her to have to think that. I don't want her to have to think that that she's gonna be bitchy or whatever, or moody when her period starts, or that she can be mean to people, because that's what happens when you're PMSing. I want her to have a different experience, and we're really going to celebrate that change of life with her. And Mother-Daughter Wisdom is a great book to read to kind of learn how to treat that rite of passage for your kids, boys and girls. They both go through their seasons, and teach them that there's a different way and a better way, and you can control those things, and you can make that ease into that next stage of life better. And that's really where I learned how to take care of myself for perimenopausal and menopausal changes as well. So Mother-Daughter Wisdom is an amazing book that helps you really celebrate these changes of life and not treat them like there's some sort of demon or curse that we have to just manage or medicate our way through. So there's definitely hope. So Lori, again, you're going to be on my heart. I'm going to be thinking about you. Thank you for sharing that. I hope I did it justice and didn't butcher it up by not finishing your comment there. And for everyone else, please take a second and pause. When someone's judgmental towards you, consider that they might just be going through a rough period of their life. And if you find that you're being a little bit judgmental of other people, realize that it could be holding you back from your own progress, because you're going to be stuck in an ugly place. And then maybe stop and think about some things that might be putting you in that situation emotionally. Why are you being so judgmental of others when maybe it's not your place or your right to do so? And see if you can find some ways to fix what's going on with you so that you can be just a little bit more open-hearted and loving and caring. to the women or men or people in your life. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We will not be here on Friday. We are moving our son into his college dorm on Friday afternoon. So we will be busy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're in the August group, please pay attention to the post in there about our schedule changes for your private live Q&A session with me. We've changed some dates on that as well because I will be with my family this weekend moving our son into college. Thank you so much for all of your patience as we've been going through this busy summer season with all the changes we have in our family and our life. I appreciate you guys. And we will catch you on Monday for sure. And then don't forget tomorrow on Instagram at For Today's Aging Woman, we will be discussing some really amazing chapters in our book, Girl, Go Wash Your Face.
MG has 3 questions. You
Okay.
want to answer it
answer.
after?
No, answer it real quick.
Okay, she says, I have broke my window at 18 hours with liquids at about 1:45, but didn't have a meal until 7:30. I was busy with work, but felt okay. Do you see this as still giving my body the break?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not real quick on math, so I don't know how many hours you fasted. Here's the deal. Intermittent fasting in this lifestyle is not perfect. It's super flexible and it's very forgiving. So what you want to do is try to be mindful of when it is you're breaking your fast and why it is you're breaking your fast. And there's some days that you just have to break your fast earlier, or you're going to have to spread your meals out or whatever. What we're trying to do is ease up the guilt and the overload of food and the regimented lifestyle that we've all been living, and give ourselves some grace. So if your fasting and your feasting window isn't perfect, that's okay. Remember, I always ask you to just do 2 things every day and ask yourself simple questions. How long will I fast today? And how well will I feast? And oftentimes it's the feasting part that we really have to answer honestly. And there's going to be some days where it's just not going to be perfect. But if you know the questions that you're asking yourself and you know how you're going to answer them, and then you're going to be truthful with what it is you do in those 2 windows, then tomorrow's a new day. So just consider that and know that you're just going to do the best that you can do on any given day. And when you have an opportunity to have those long weeks or days of consistency and maybe a little bit more discipline, then take advantage of those. And we're in a season right now with so much going on. We're going to spend the next 2 weekends back to back in hotels doing things with our family. It's not the perfect environment for feasting, and oftentimes not for fasting. That's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not going to feel remorseful. I'm not going to, talk negative to myself. I know what's happening and I know what to do in those situations. And then when our season settles down and our daughter goes back to school, Michael and I have already talked about how excited we are to go back to our really regimented fasting and our really focused feasting. And we've survived an amazing summer. We've both in really great shape. Our bodies feel really great, and we haven't been as disciplined as we have been in the past. That's okay. It's a season. So treat your fasting and feasting in the seasons in which they apply, and just do your best asking yourself those 2 questions. How long will you fast and how well will you feast? And sometimes it's 12 hours, sometimes it's 16, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 24. Just take it as it comes.
Okay, last statement from
Last statement, then we gotta go.
I wasted so much time hating myself too, comparing to what I saw or the vision I was chasing that was not meant to be mine to chase. Learning to love me more one day at a time.
Yep, that's all you've got to do, and is just love you the best way you know how to love you, and be kind to yourself and give yourself grace, and make sure that the words that you're using are positive. And then that's half the battle. The rest of it is just listening to the signs and signals your body is sending you. And if you're listening with an open heart and an open mind, you'll figure that part out too. Okay, Facebook, I will go through and read the rest of these comments, and I will answer them for you offline. We have to go. We have to go back to our family, and I know you guys have to go back to yours as well. So thank you so much for jumping on with us. We will see you tomorrow on Instagram, and then we'll see you, I'm sure if you follow us, you'll see some pictures of us moving our son into his dorm, and then we'll catch you back here live on Monday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that the decisions that you're making for yourself will lead you to looking and feeling your best and living your most authentic life.